so excited. I'm like literally, I've been on cloud nine all day. Welcome. My name is Darian, and just welcome to Planning Together, where every week I invite a friend on to share with us how they are organizing their life and heart. So y'all, if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And y'all, I just don't have one friend today. I have two amazing friends joining me today, Megan and Myra. And y'all, they are just two amazing planner bosses, planner babes, planner amazing women who are just, they love planners and they're just trying to navigate motherhood. And y'all, they have a podcast called Planners and Wine, y'all, where they discuss all things planners, social justice in the planner community, and just everyday life, y'all. So y'all, go ahead and light up those comments and let Megan and Myra know how excited you are to have them joining us today. Hello, ladies. Hi, I'm so excited.
What's up?
I'm excited too. Darian, that was like the best intro ever.
Right. I'm like,
you record that for the podcast? Or
Listen,
I forgot I was so great. Like, oh yeah, I am a mom. Oh yeah, I am a planner mom.
Listen, y'all are moms. Y'all got a whole podcast. Y'all working, wives, like all the things. Like,
you're everything. Thank you, girl.
Yes. Yeah.
We're so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have y'all here. Let us know, how are y'all doing today? And also let me know what y'all sipping on. Myra, you want to start us off? How you doing? What are you drinking?
I've been sipping on for about half an hour now, but yeah, I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here. I am sipping on at the bottle here, so actually it's Stella. So it's a Moscato.
Lit Myra is somebody totally different. Okay?
I also have water too.
Yeah.
So I don't get too crazy.
There we go. There we go.
Yes.
I'm on my PG right now. I just got my cherry coke from Sonic, and I just got my water. You know, it's middle of the week. I gotta wait till Friday before I start going. I gotta give these kids tomorrow. Y'all know this.
Oh my goodness, ladies. Okay, so listen, when I was like on Instagram and I asked people if they had any questions, can I just say, like, so many people sent in so many questions. Like, people were just like, like, I have a question. Just goes to show, like, I think just like one of like your influence and just what you guys are doing in this community. And I just want to say thank you. Like, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. I love Planners and Wine. I love your podcast. Like, I just feel like I was driving to Indiana last week and I was like, I just feel like I was chatting with my best friends in the car. Like, y'all were saying something. I'm like, yes, like.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. We love you.
Oh, thanks. Okay. So let's get down to business. Okay. The first thing I want to know is, what was y'all's favorite, like, first planner? Your first planner.
Okay, so I honestly don't remember childhood, but my first planner as an adult, it wasn't the happy planner. It was a planner called the Happiness Planner. I got that in like 2016. It was like my first fancy planner. My boyfriend at the time, bought it for me. It cost like $50. He was like, "Why do you need a $50 planner?" I was like, "I don't know. It's cute." And I want it. And, you know, the rest was just a rabbit hole a couple years later. And I just been hooked ever since.
Mine was actually the Happy Planner. And I'll do from adult, because, of course, we all had those childish planners. But it was a mini Mom Life. Like, they had, before they had the whole mom collection, they had like a little box set. So I bought that. I have no clue where that is, but, and now I don't use a mini at all. So that goes to say that didn't work out for me. But yeah, that was my first one.
Okay. Okay. And so now, what does y'all planner stack / system look like now?
You want us to be honest?
Honest.
Okay, low key, I'm in a season of a lot of flexibility and change. So what I use pretty much changes on like a bi-weekly basis. But I haven't been buying any new Okay, never mind. Wait, I did just buy a new planner, but that don't count because I bought that for school, not for my personal life. I just been dealing with the same planners. So actually, right now I'm using an Erin Condren vertical for this week. Who knows what next week will bring?
Wait, so does it change each week?
Every other week. You know, don't play me. Like 2 weeks. You know, your girl gets bored. I gotta experiment a little bit, you know, but that's just right now because I'm really just trying to lock in what I want to use for 2021. So I'm kind of experimenting right now so I can really, really figure out what I want to use next year.
Okay, I like that.
Sure. She says that now, but we'll see.
I knew you was gonna play me. I knew it.
But right now, mainly like for my catch-all, I'm using a A5 rings with cloth and paper inserts. Trying to figure out my social media stuff. So I'm in like a classic happy planner. I'm using actually now a dashboard. I was using the teacher layout. So that flip-flops. And I have a few happy planners for like journaling, but I think that's it.
While Myra trying to play me, she was literally using the teacher last week. And this week she not. So
yeah.
we're more alike than we're different.
That is true. But that didn't work out for me. So I don't know if I'll go back. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, y'all are definitely not alone because we got Julie saying she changes planners weekly.
I know Julie.
Yeah.
Aisha said, Megan sounds like me. We twins. So you're not alone. You're not alone. Kat said, yeah, Megan, 2020 is a trial year. Got to try everything.
Yes.
I like that. It's a trial year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so what are you learning about, like, in terms of, like, how has your planning style necessarily changed throughout this year?
Oh, mine's changed completely. Because once we started working from home with the whole quarantine thing, I noticed that I really needed to figure out my schedule because before, you know, I work a 9 to 5. So it's pretty self-explanatory what I'm doing 9 to 5. But when I was at home, I had to like juggle, like work a couple hours, take care of my son, do other things around the house. So an hourly really came into my life then. So that completely changed because I had never used an hourly before. But now that I kind of have like a schedule down, I'm not using it. So it's like I go through seasons with my planning.
Okay.
Same.
Changes. Yeah.
Same. Especially since becoming a teacher. Like now I need something to where I can see my whole week at once. Everything I got to do for school, everything I got to do for Planners and Wine, everything I got to do for home life. I need to see that in one place. And now I'm implementing a daily planner because now I really need it because your girl got, you know, stuff to do and I can't be forgetting.
Okay. So listen, you went there. So we're going to go. You got motherhood, your wife, y'all both working, and you have Planners and Wine, and that is like growing. How do y'all deal with it all?
Lots of moms. Exactly. Both me and Myra will be like talking like, yeah, I only got to spend 3 hours with my child today. Myra like, yeah, I only got to spend like 2.5. It's just a part of our life for right now, and hopefully it'll all pan out because for one thing, you know, we got to do our full-time jobs. That's not a negotiable right now. And then with Planners and Wine, that is really our passion and the thing that we love, especially when we're seeing all this great feedback and growth. Like, we want to keep putting into it as much as we can. So, you know, sometimes you got to kind of sacrifice a little on the front end to really get the full picture and everything that you deserve on the back end. So that's what we're trying to do right now. Just grind.
Oh, I love that. So what would you tell a mom who's like dealing with mom guilt? Like she's just kind of like, I can't do it. I don't want to upset Sally Sue. Like,
not Sally. Try to focus on the times that your child just really get on your nerves and appreciate you a long time doing something else. That's what I try to do. Even though when you miss your child, you don't be thinking about none of that stuff. And it's like, it's crazy how you can miss your child even when they're literally in the next room. But you're in the office or somewhere else and you just got to be doing what you're doing. It's hard because Myra, you were just telling me the other night about how you had to, you know, go in the office and leave your baby with your husband and he was crying and stuff. Like that happens on a weekly basis for both of us. sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, and with ours being so small, we still kind of have that like attachment. Yeah. I mean, I guess you always do, but it's really like still a close bond since they're two. So it's hard. And Ashton will bang on this door forever, talking about some mama. So
makes him
a struggle. But I think it's important to know that, yeah, we are moms, but we need to keep an identity for ourselves too. We're not just moms.
Yes.
So that's where I think about, like, if I get real guilty of not spending too much time with him, like, I have to have something for me too. I can't just be mom.
Yep.
So I just remember that.
Oh, I love that. And how would you say, like, for the mom who necessarily has like gotten lost in her children and her work, what would you say, like, should she, like, what are the first steps that maybe she can take to kind of like rediscovering herself and what she does like and what she is passionate about?
Pick up a planner, sis. That's what we did. Like, to be honest, that's when I really started to get into planning, because right after my daughter was born, I was feeling super lost and super like, who am I? Feeling like I kind of lost my identity. And both me and Myra both became moms and wives at almost the same time. Yeah. So we were going into a lot head first. So planning kind of really helped me have something for myself, because 1000% can lose that if you let yourself lose that. So that's my first step, girl. Go to Joanne or Hobby Lobby or Michael's, get you a cute little planner and some stickers, and go in a room and close the door for at least 2 hours.
Love that.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, I agree. Cynthia had said, my mom had always says, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yes.
I love it. And Jennifer said, focus on times where it's good, the laughter, sleeping in your arms, success. The feeling of failure diminishes when you realize how much you are succeeding.
Yes.
That's a good point.
Amazing.
That's a good point.
The feeling of failure diminishes when you realize how much you are succeeding. I really like that.
I do too.
I need to put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. I need that on a t-shirt.
Right. Yes. Like, even especially, and it's like, it's harder because our kids are so little, but at the same time, every time I'm back with my baby, I remember she noticed I was gone when I was gone, but now she's not remembering, oh, mommy was at work all day, or mommy is, doing a podcast for an hour. She just knows that mommy is here right now. And that's all I care about. So it's like, to them, it's like a blink of an eye that we're gone and that we're back. But to us, it's such a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of got to keep it in perspective that we're trying to do what's best for our kids. We're trying to make sure our kids' college is paid for in full, no student loans.
Yes.
So
thanks, Mom. Thank you.
Exactly.
I love this, Aisha. I don't know if I'm the only one who has an adult child, but my advice is always stay true to your identity. Once they're 18, you'll feel lost and you don't have that established. Like, if you don't have it. Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all, this is some good advice. I feel like I'm gonna have to come back to this when I enter that season of motherhood. I'm gonna have to come back to this video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, remember, as much as you need breaks from your kids need breaks from you.
Ooh. Ain't that a word?
Look, Ashton will let me know if I'm getting on his nerves. He'll go in his room, close his door. That little boy got personality. So
he slammed the door for the other day.
Yeah, I was on the phone with you, and yet he full blown slammed the door in my face. So he let me know.
Yeah, Tyler's got some attitudes. Basically, he's talking about, no, mommy, like, oh. Crazy. They're crazy. I love them. They're crazy.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so the biggest question that I got today was, how did y'all like come up with Plainers and Wine? How did this podcast get started? What made you want to do it?
Ooh, look at my recipient. She don't want to talk first. All right. Sips tea. So this was something that we had been kind of talking about off and on for maybe like 6 months, like a minute, right, Myra?
Yeah, at least 6 months before we actually started, before the planner world started burning.
Yeah. So much stuff would happen, and we'd be on the phone talking about every big thing that happened in the planner community, and we'd just be laughing and talking for hours about everything. And we were always like, ugh, I wish we had a podcast. I don't know why it wasn't on our radar. They're like, oh girl, y'all can just start one, duh. We finally got the guts to do it towards the end of May when everything in the planner community was just crashing down. We were like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and just speak, and let's just see what happens. Just throw something into the atmosphere and just see, stick to the wall. And it really did. We weren't expecting, but maybe about 10 or 15 of y'all to be tuning in, like our friends, like just a few people. But people started listening, and so we just kept going. It's just been really unexpected and really, really great.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind because it just like kind of took off. But I think like our realness really comes through, even like through the mics. So, and people enjoy that. And I think that was something that we was kind of missing at the time. So we kind of like filled that void, and it's been fun. I love it.
Yeah. And like we were kind of explaining it to Darian before we got on, guys, that most of the stuff we do, well, pretty much everything we do is super off the cuff and just not prepared. That kind of work for us because we're so busy. We got so much other stuff to do. We don't have time to sit down and talk for hours and hours trying to figure out what we're going to talk about. We literally just hop on Zoom and like, okay, so what are we talking about today? Let's go. Let's do it. And we just say what's in our heart.
It's really real. It's really real.
Yeah. Very little editing. Very little editing.
I love that. And Cynthia, I completely agree. Everyone agrees. Like, I love Plein Air Wine so much. One of the few good things in 2020. Yeah.
Yes, I love Cynthia. That's exciting. We're always in the DMs talking about, the president or whoever else. That's my girl.
Plein Air Wine is literally the only podcast I've been able to focus on. It's my favorite thing to put in my planner each week. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
And other people's planners, like, how wild is that? That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's really crazy. Crazy. Like, my friends are like, you're talking about planners? I'm like, yes.
What are you talking about? This is normal. You're weird.
You're weird.
I love that. It totally comes through. I love listening to you both. I think you're referring to your realness.
Thank you.
Yes. You both say what so many of us are feeling as well. And I completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely.
Thank you. Julie, that's my other girl. I love her too. I love everybody on here. Like, everybody, it's like all these people keep popping up. Like, oh my gosh, I talked to you. I talked to you all the time.
Yes. And I think this brings up a next question is like, you guys are so great together. So I want to know, how did y'all meet?
Oh, look, you gonna sit. So we actually, it's crazy because we never lived in the same state. We actually met, we both got hired on for the same position, just in 2 different states, but the training was out in Spokane, Washington. I'm sorry for any Washington folks, but it was nothing out there.
It's a really great spot, though. We did go to this really great spot.
That was in Idaho, though, not Washington.
But so, yeah, we just bonded. Like,
yeah, we just kind of bonded there. Actually, I had like something in my hair. I think it was like clip-in extensions, like natural hair clip-in extensions. And you asked me, I was like, oh, she my friend.
Yes. And it's like ever since then, like we just both kind of stayed in contact. So both of us were always going through similar things in our life. Like, we both got engaged around the same time. We both got married around the same time. We both had our first babies around the same time. And we were still connecting on this trash company that we worked for, plus all this other stuff. So once we both weren't working there anymore, we just had this friendship built, and we just still like stayed in touch. And really, the planner community has really made our friendship blossom even more, because once we realized that we both were into planners and stuff, oh, that was it. We were just besties after that. We were like, girl, I gotta talk to you every week now because it's a wrap. So we just fell in love.
Yeah.
You're like friendship goals.
Yeah. She's the yin to my yang.
Yeah, the best thing that ever came out of that job, like hands down, girl.
Myra be getting sappy every now and then. It just warms my heart. I'm gonna cry. planner friendship, like obviously planner community friendships are amazing.
Yes.
But I think us having that foundation outside of the community and that, you know, that real life connection, I definitely think that's kind of what helps. I mean, especially like say if you're thinking about, you know, starting a podcast or starting any type of business with a friend, you need to make sure that this is somebody that you can trust. Like trust with your money, with the things that you care about, with your business. You cannot go into that type of situation with somebody that you don't really, really know. And it's like literally ever since me and Myra met each other, she's never been anything except 100% real and just cool. Like period. Like, you know, like obviously we're not perfect and we're different people, but both of us know that we're always going to get some realness from each other. If nobody else is going to tell us the truth, I know Myra's going to tell me the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've ran a few story posts by you before I actually posted.
She good.
You need that person. Like, is this too much?
And me and Myra like to joke that like between us, I'm like the Martin and she like the Malcolm. Because, you know, I try to do kind of like the light-handed approach, like finesse it. And Myra's like, I don't mess with them. Nope, I don't care.
And that's why you need the other person. Sometimes you need to edit it. Sometimes you need to turn up a little bit. You got to balance it out.
Yeah, that's it. It's all about balance.
All about balance. I love that. So, because one thing I see is that like with social media, like having or like building organic relationships and like outside of the screen, it's honestly becoming something that's like not like it's a normal, like people aren't having these friendships that you guys are developing. So for someone who's kind of like, I am looking for that friendship, I'm looking for that community, like what advice or maybe what's a step that they can take to kind of maybe put themselves out there and kind of like trying to find a friend? Because that's really good.
I think you always have to pay attention to the vibes that people are giving off online. Like even when especially when they're not talking to you directly, like the way you see people like move in social media or interact with other people, the things that they're talking about, complaining about, whatever, you just really have to choose your people wisely. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's somebody who always has some drama, always has something crazy going on, sometimes you got to think like, okay, is this person the common denominator between all the craziness that they always have going on? Like, or is this person somebody who exudes peace and positivity and just light and fun? Like, that's clearly the type of person that you are, Darian, which is why we just adore you so much. Because you're like, we were telling her earlier, like, I've never seen anything but positivity from you. And it's not like you don't have bad days or bad things happen to you. You just don't let that stuff define you and weigh you down. And that's the type of friends you need to be looking for everywhere, not just on the internet, you know?
Yeah, agree. Wholeheartedly. But I think it's this community makes it a little bit easier because everybody, even if they are a little bit on the negative side, they're pretty warm and open to talk to you. Yep. But again, you kind of have to like ride on those vibes and really be looking out. And I know a ton of people that found their planner besties from here. So it's possible.
Yeah. And just be real about how you feel and your values. Like we talk about one good thing that came out of all the drama and the craziness earlier this summer in the planner community was kind of the realness that it opened up. So people are being more open, talking about social justice, being more open, talking about diversity and inclusion. Like pay attention to what your people that you like online talk about. If they're not talking about the things that are important to you, maybe that's not so important to them. And, you know, one thing I can't have is somebody whose morals and all that's not on the same page as mine. Like some things is a gray area, but some stuff is black and white, like racism. We say that all the time on the podcast. Like black and white. There's no gray. So you just got to make sure that other people's values and, like I said, morals and everything align with yours. Or if they don't, it needs to be something that you're able to accept and live with, you know?
Yeah. I love that. Yes, y'all. I'm loving these comments. Y'all, yes.
Everybody's so sweet.
Yes, absolutely. So speaking of the planner community, like how would you guys have saying that? Like, would you say that you have seen improvement since everything blew up into smoke? Or like what, I guess, like positive things have you guys seen are and also the areas that you feel like we can still work on?
I think, like you said, Meg, one of the positives is people are being a little bit more free to speak about things and kind of call things out. Not that I don't think most people were afraid of it. It just kind of seemed like it was like a taboo thing to do. Like, this isn't the place. Like, Plainer Land is unicorns and rainbows all the time, so don't bring it over here. And I think that is one of the positives. Like, people are a little bit more open to speak about it. But
absolutely, absolutely. And it's like now these companies know that the majority of women in this community, and we care about this stuff. We care about who we see on your page. We care about the representation, who y'all, send your new planners to, all that type of stuff. And it's been so awesome to not only see more Black women and women of color speaking up and really holding their feet to the fire, but even our allies and people publicly agreeing to, like, if a company reaches out to you to work with you, if you don't see any people of color or Black people on their page, is that a company you want to work with? That's been things that even our allies have been kind of taking a stance on, whereas before, it's not that they didn't care. I just feel like that was kind of like a blind spot for a lot of them. They didn't notice. And we noticed, but they didn't notice. So now it's like people are really starting to notice, like, okay, this company's not on the up and up when it comes to this, that, and the other. Like, even if they're representing me, who else y'all representing? Nobody? Okay, next. Not gonna work, So it's just cool to see people like really having our backs and really taking a stand and just standing for what's right.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. Love that so much. I'm just taking that in because I felt like there was just so many check their Instagram feed. Like, do you see people of color? Like that's something tangible that you can do.
Yep, absolutely. And if you don't, ask them. If you're curious, if you can ask them, like, okay, so this is a cool campaign. How many people of color and Black people are you going to have in this? Oh, no. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that still needs a little bit of work with some of these companies is the transparency and the kind of hide under the rug type of thing is still a little bit going on, although they, if you call them out, they'll say something about it, but it's still like they're kind of like tiptoeing on that line. So I think that's something we can keep pushing these companies to do to be better.
Oh, right. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Yes. All the snaps.
All the snaps.
Somebody said Martin getting deep.
I know.
See, she the reverend for the reason. She been preaching.
Yes. Hey, girl, that's our girl. Yes.
That's how I met Megan. Cynthia says that's how I met Megan, by throwing down in those EC comments.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, me and she's going to work these races, okay? Like, she had my back though.
I love that.
I stay away from comment section, but sometimes you just had time, and I had time back in June. I still had time back in June.
I love that. And Myra, you had posted something earlier this week where you were talking about you don't have to worry about comparison when you're manifesting in your own lane. My question is, and I seen where you're kind of like, I want you to share kind of what do you do when you kind of like take your mind off of staying in your lane and you get focused on other people and we go down that rabbit hole of comparison. Kind of what are things that kind of take you back and put you back in your lane? Because I know I struggle with it and I know a lot of people struggle with it. Like,
I still struggle. I still struggle with it. I typically probably step off of Instagram for a moment. If I see a pattern, like I'm continuing to like compare myself to a person, I've actually muted a person before just so I can refocus my own agenda and get my mind right and stop comparing or honestly low-key hating. And then once I'm ready, I'll unmute them. But sometimes it's nothing wrong with it. I mean, we're human. We all have a little bit of envious and jealousy in us. And if you feel like it's getting to a point where it's affecting you, it's nothing wrong with the mute button for a while until you can get back in line. But what's also been really working for me is like writing down my wins. Basically, I used to set a goal like at the top of the year when things were normal. I set a goal like, oh, I want to hit like 50K, like something just crazy on YouTube, which is like virtually impossible, but crazy. And once I realigned it to say, okay, in January, I gained X amount of followers or subscribers, like, and each month it grew, even though it was like small numbers, it still grew, which made me be a little bit grateful for what I had and what I was getting instead of worrying about what I didn't have.
Right.
So that really helped me out a lot. So maybe just adjust it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And I think, first off, I need to ask you about this mute button before I even say what I So wait, is there a difference between unfollowing someone and muting them?
Mary, you are so sweet that you didn't even know the mute button.
Yeah.
You just
I guess I was really in the mouth. I would use that mute button.
And you didn't even know.
Like the mute button, I'm like, wait.
You are so pure.
Yeah, I'm a hot mess. I'm a hot mess too. I just unfollow. I don't mute them. So like,
hey, that's effective too. That's my
whatever works. Whatever works.
They all do the same thing. Yeah, it's just the more polite because they don't know.
They don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I should know this versus unfollowing and having that like, and then when you refollow when you're ready, like.
Sometimes it's not like I want to unfollow them like they're being negative or anything. It's just that I'm in like the comparison mindset. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna mute you for a little bit. Then I'll go back and unmute once I'm back in line with myself.
I like that.
Yeah, mute is usually the step I take before I unfollow. Like I mute somebody for like a week or two. I unmute if we still not on the same page. I just got to unfollow, so that works too. So,
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Someone said, I thought mute was only on Facebook. I did too, Destiny. I'm learning something new. Like, I'm learning something new. I'm totally
Facebook bringing things to Instagram.
I was about to say Instagram is owned by Facebook. So I feel like that's where that came in.
Yeah.
That's right. That is right. Because I remember when you log into the account, it says owned by Facebook.
Yep.
Okay. There was something like when we were talking about like the comparison, the one thing that like you said you journal, and that's something that I've like been getting back into, especially like journaling those negative feelings of like jealousy and like envy and even comparison. But what I often find is that when I give myself the space to do that, I end up discovering like, oh, I'm jealous because I'm just really passionate about this, or I really love this, or I admire this characteristic in this somebody. And I'm kind of talking to myself, not being afraid to like allow myself to feel those negative emotions, but they often lead to something deeper and like not being afraid of that. But anyway, I digress to say like, do you guys both journal? Are you both into journaling?
We both kind of dabble. We dabble. We're not heavy journalers because, you need time and we don't. By the time I get in bed and get my journal out, I'll be asleep, girl. I'm working on it. But I love, like, I grew up journaling all the time. Like, so one thing I do still have, like, from my childhood, I have journals and journals and journals of like me just every thought I had, every feeling I had, lots of boy talk, real crazy back in 6th grade. So, it's still something that really helped me have my love of writing anyway. So it is something that I want to try to devote more time to. But, time is just so precious. I don't know.
It is.
Trying.
Yeah, it is a struggle. That's why I've been using like a horizontal happy planner, because it limits my space. I don't have to feel like, because I'm not a white space planner. I feel like I have to cover the whole page. So with those little sections, I have enough time to like jot down a few sentences, but I'm working on it. Eventually it'll be a whole book journal.
Okay. I'm trying. Like, that's something I'm trying to like get back into. And then I rewatched Moesha. And I was like, oh yeah, like I remember she sparked that like journaling in me. Like when I was a teenager,
I swear I was
so poetic.
Yeah.
You see when Myra put the Moesha soundtrack on her, like the song on her stories a couple weeks ago. I was like, who is this person? That was so funny.
Oh my goodness. Okay. There's one more question I want to round back to before y'all get your questions ready. I have the ones on Instagram ready. But y'all had said you're no longer at the job that y'all were at, and you kind of like into new positions and new jobs? Kind of like, I know Megan, like you're really like, you just started teaching again. How did you guys transition out of like the old job into finding something that you enjoy doing and are passionate about? Like someone who's trying to transition and maybe their current job is just not it.
Be open. You know, like I've always kind of been one of those people that was never quite sure what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I mean, I kind of didn't want to work at all, but you know, you got to work. So I had to figure it out. So I just kind of explored different things. Like I started taking more classes at a community college. I was looking into nursing for a little while. Then I was like, I really love kids. What about teaching? Like I really just tried to explore and think about the things that I really love and how I could align that with a career. So really just kind of dive deep and don't be scared to start over. Like I'm 31 years old and I'm starting a new career. Like that was scary as hell for me at first. I was like, am I too old to start over? And I'm like, okay, girl, you're not old, first of all. It's never too late. It's never too late to change your life and do something that you care more about or that you're passionate about, that you may love more than what is, you know, as long as you're able to financially deal with it, then I say, hey, just go for it. Just explore and just go for it.
Yeah. I think Megan's better to answer this question because I'm still not at the place where I want to be. I just kind of realized, like, even though I left that position, I'm still in insurance. It was both the jobs are insurance. I realized I don't want to do that at all. Although where I am is so much better. God, so much better. But realizing that this is not it and being okay with like saying, I don't know what I want to do, but this ain't it.
Right.
So that's kind of where I am right now. And I'm thinking it's more so I'm just not a 9-to-5er. Yeah. Like I want to be able to work for myself. So I'm taking notes from Megan. What?
I was just telling Darian, like I like teaching, but I want to move into counseling later. So I'm still in the transition. Like, this is a building block. Because my patience.
I love that. But even Myra, what you were saying is like you're like, even though I'm not where I want to be, I'm taking inventory of what I do want. And I'm realizing I don't like this, but I want this and I like that. And I think that that's really like important. And so my advice is, because now on the flip coin is, what advice would you give someone who's in the same position? Like, this isn't where I'm at, but how do I continue to like find joy in like my everyday life right now?
I would kind of just realize, just try to think and realize that no matter how miserable a situation can possibly be, it could always be worse. There's always somebody out there who would be dying to be in your shoes. So you really have to take gratitude and think about the positives. Like, okay, this job sucks. This job is paying my bills. This job sucks, but I'm able to work from home. This job sucks, but I'm able to feed my family. You know what I'm saying? You kind of have to keep it into perspective and just have things outside of work that you care about too. Like, don't let your life just be all about work. And that was one thing that was great for both me and Myra when we were at that company that we couldn't stand. We still had something outside of work that made that we could, we had our planners, we had our families, we just had other things too. So especially if you should never make your whole entire life about your job, but especially if it's a job that you hate. Like, do not let it define your entire life. Like, when you leave work, literally, not just physically, but mentally leave work too. Leave it there. Like, you have to just focus and have your time for yourself and for your life and the things that you love and care about too.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And especially with working from home, it's a little bit harder to leave work. I used to have like my whole setup still on my desk every day. And it was so easy to like, let me finish this. But now when I get done, I literally put the laptop up, like literally put it up. So it's done. And until the next day or whenever I'm expected to be back. But I guess it's also important too to remember, like, if you're destined to not be in a certain position, or, you want to move on from your current job, don't think that you're just stuck there and just accept it. Because I think, especially with the other place where we were at, I was kind of like, I'm stuck here because I don't feel like I'm gonna get anywhere else out of here, but never get into that hole. Always like try to, like you said, seek the positive and see the light at the end of the tunnel, because it's always there. It's always there. You're not just stuck there.
Exactly.
Oh, I love that. Y'all, come on, dropping some wisdom and some truth. Yes, I love it. And these comments, I'm like, yeah, like Aisha just said, it's never too late.
Yeah.
That she went to a college graduation and one of the graduates was in his 70s.
Wow. That's amazing.
I love that. Kat said, better late than never, and leave leave unhappily ever after.
Yes. Yep.
Work fills up way too much time of our lives to be unhappy or in a toxic place.
Yep.
I love seeing these comments on both ends. Like, I love this, Hannah. I always tell my husband, I'm so glad he doesn't love to be at work. It makes him loving coming home.
Oh, that is so cute. Hannah, that is too cute. See, that's why y'all got so many kids, okay? Because he loves Yes, girl.
Oh, man.
I love it so much.
I love you, Hannah.
Love you, Hannah. Cynthia says, this is really helpful. I'm trying to figure out what career I ultimately want to be in, and I've been in mine for 10 years, and I know I want different, just not sure how yet. Yeah, I really like having conversations like this, just because it's like, again, at the end of the day, we're all in the same boat. We're all trying to like figure it out. Oh, no. Yes. Okay. All right, y'all, get your I know. I'm just laughing at these comments.
Cracking me up. I love these laughing emojis.
Okay. So y'all get your questions ready. I'm gonna ask some of the questions that we got on Instagram for y'all. Someone said, what is your 2021 planner lineup looking like?
Okay, I know mine. Well, I know 2 out of 3 of them. I think it's gonna be 3. I'm doing the content planner for like planners and wine, social media, all that. I have a day designer, like the mini day designer, because I'm using a daily now, and I have no idea what my 3rd catch-all will be. Somebody's weekly planner. I'm just not sure yet.
Okay.
I have no comment. Because I just don't know.
Wait, we just talked about this like 2 weeks ago on the podcast, and I swear she had a lineup. What happened to
that? Was my current lineup.
Oh,
2021.
Oh,
yeah.
See,
I have 3 months, 3.5 months.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
time.
Do y'all know your 2021 lineup? Put your recommendations in the comments.
Tell us your 2021 lineup, okay?
All I know is I'm still gonna be using my Moxie Life. That's all, because it's just been working for me this year.
I'm excited to see the new ones. I'm really, really excited to see the new covers. Yes.
Really nice.
Oh, that's the famous planner. I know what I'm doing.
Oh, yes, but it's a nice planner. I'm really excited to see the next one.
Me too. Okay, well.
You have seen it back.
I know.
I'm jealous about it. Julie posted about it the other day, and I was like, "You seen it?" She was like, "Yep." I was like, "Who I got to talk to?"
Another was, what lessons has this year taught you, and how are you using them in your planner?
Oh.
Hey, there's some good questions.
This is a good question. This year has taught me to, I don't know if any of y'all watch Big Brother, but one of the big lines from Big Brother, the TV show, is expect the unexpected. I think the COVID was definitely unexpected for most of us, and how it shook up our lives and literally our whole world, the country, everything. And I feel like this year has just really taught me how to like value the present and not worry so much about the future or things in the past I can't control. You know what I'm saying? Like, just focus on today, live your best life today, make yourself happy today, because you just never know what's coming tomorrow. So it just really helped me to like appreciate life. And, that's why I be all over the place with planners, because shoot, if a planner ain't making me happy, girl, bye. I got to move on. I don't know if I'm gonna be here next week, so I don't have time for joy. Okay.
I think a lesson this year has taught me is just to take a risk. Like it's okay to take risks. Because honestly, I like Planners and Wine was a risk. Like we had no clue like what the response was going to be. Especially like with, you know, we want to work with companies and stuff too, and we want to be real too. So, you know, you don't really know what that's going to do, but definitely take risks. And I guess the way I'm using it in my planner is to continue to buy planners at a risky rate. So
yeah.
I love that. We have, how do y'all keep track of long-term items like finances if you change planners so often? Like I got trackers in 4 different planners and can't remember what I'm tracking and where.
Now, what I don't change frequently is my my finance planner. Like that's solid. Like I literally go maybe like at least 6 months, but the one I've been using it for this whole entire year. So I definitely keep that in one place. But I guess if you get bored with whatever you're using for your like finances or whatever, just move everything over. That's what I would do. I would never just start a financial planner just brand new, fresh, and not put anything from the past few months into it. Because you gotta, I mean, the whole point is to keep track. So you can't, you know, you can't lose that. It's all right if you lose just a regular old spread, you know, with just your weekly plans or whatever in it in the old planner. But your finances, like, you just gotta move that with you and just make that system needs to be as simple as humanly possible.
Yeah, I agree. When it comes to finances, I don't really change that up. I actually just use a notebook. I've tried using budget planners. They just don't work for me too much here and there and everywhere. So I just use a notebook for budgeting. But yeah, that never changes for me.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I have to use an Excel sheet. I can't do it in my paper. They don't work for me.
See, that's so techie. I love that. I need a paper and a calculator. Paper and a calculator. Like a real one, not my phone.
Okay, this next question, you already know who this one probably came from.
Let's see.
Myra, why Hamilton? Yeah.
Julie, trolling my girl.
Look, Meg's talking about doing a watch party, and I'm just like, y'all want to have a watch party? Have it. By all means, I don't have to be there. I could be in spirit. Like, just put my picture next to you or something.
No, the more we try to make her watch it, the more she resists. Okay, because on the low, when me and her have like talked privately, but she like, you know, I may watch it one day. But then when y'all like Myra watch it, she like, no.
See, the more we know about the guy who did some songs in Moana, did most of the songs in this. So I'm like,
hold up, the guy who did. You will not.
I was gonna say the guy who did.
Got
a whole thing.
I need a new co-host. Anybody hiring?
It's been very nice being here with y'all.
Don't you disrespect Lynn?
Well, Myra,
y'all should have led with Moana.
See, that's the thing. She loves Moana. So now that she, see, Julie trying to break up a happy home. That's the problem.
But no,
not yet.
Not yet.
I never say never.
Yet. Is that yet close?
I don't see how y'all have the 3 hours to be watching it multiple times.
I told her up to split it up. I said, look, it stops at exactly the middle point. You can pick it back up the next day. Like, girl, I done told her, Darian. I done told her.
But I could be watching Lovecraft Country, RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, it's so much good stuff.
Hamilton is one of them. How dare you? Julie don't bring this up again. She's gonna get there one day.
We're gonna get there. I'm determined to help get you there.
Yeah. One day we're gonna begin the podcast. We're gonna be like, this is the new Hamilton Stand podcast, formerly known as Planners and Wine, because I guarantee it. Watch.
It's really good. I think it, like, even if you watch it in parts, it's just an experience, and it's for Broadway. Like, it literally, like, what Lynn did with that and how he brought into, like, the culture and the rapping. Like, it's a work of art.
It is. It's the most amazing thing I've ever watched. See, this is not helping. This is pushing her away. She's like, it's not that good, y'all. Bullshit.
Yeah, art. I agree.
She like, art is subjective.
Next question. Okay, what is your favorite planner size and why?
7x9.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
That's the size that most planners come in. It's just the perfect size. It's not too big. It's not too small. 7x9.
Yeah. Agreed.
Do you have a favorite 7x9 planner?
Girl, see, now you're starting stuff. We can't get our minds right. We're in a season of figuring it out. So let's talk again in January.
I mean, for me, it would have to be a happy planner. You know, I like the discount system, so.
You do?
For sure.
I don't have a favorite right now. I don't.
Now, Myra, you also use rings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what are, like, let's talk about it for a second. Which do you prefer, rings or discs?
Yeah, I'll take the disc. If I have to choose, I'll take the disc.
Why?
It's just, I don't know.
She don't know.
I don't know. It just works. Oh, you know what? I do know. I don't like in my A5 that I can't like fold it. Like, you know how in a discount system I can close it. I don't like that.
Yeah.
So I literally have to take my pages out every week, which I do in the discount system anyway. But I like to have the option to fold it over.
Yeah,
so that's probably why if I had to choose, it would be discount.
Okay. Okay. So wrapping up here, I want to know what is next for planners and wine.
Girl, a lot. We had a business yesterday, and it was a lot. But right now, we're trying to get our YouTube off the ground. We're starting a new series on YouTube. Obviously, the podcast. Really trying to put a lot of work into our Patreon. Just really trying to grow like our audience and our brand, and really become like, you know, like a little household name in the planner community. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah, and eventually, you know, once the world opens back up, to be able to meet, maybe do live shows or something like that. But yeah, just keep growing. That's what's coming. Just more growth.
Yep.
Oh, I love that. What advice would y'all give someone who is like, I might want to be starting a podcast, like, but I don't want to, like, kind of like on the fence, scared. Maybe they're scared to take a risk. What advice would you give them?
Just do it, because we were there, like, for those 6 months, like, oh man, we should have one. Just do it. You never know. Like, and I think this community is so supportive, you know, for the most part, super supportive. So this is, I would say this is the best place to kind of like throw yourself out there. And because I feel like overall you would be greeted with love. Like, people will listen to it. I mean, they don't like it, they'll move on, but they, for the most part, won't like trash it or anything. So just do it.
Yeah.
Just get out there.
Just do it. Just start, and, you know, kind of figure out, like, what do you want to talk about? How often do you want to do episodes? Like, how consistent are you going to be? Like, be thinking about that type of stuff. Do you want to do it by yourself, or do you want to do it with the co-host? And if so, who is somebody that you really, really trust that you can go into business with? How are y'all going to divide up the work to make sure you know, nobody has too heavy of a load? Like, you really have to think through all the ins and outs of those things. So then, even on the reverse of that, like, we have friends who have podcasts by themselves, and they tell us, like, oh my God, I'm jealous because you don't have to do all the editing. You don't have to do all the share it. But when you share the work, you share the profits too. So you got to think, you trying to split your money 50-50, you got to think about all this type of stuff. So really, really think about it and just have some goals in mind and just, like I said, know who you are and know what you want to talk about, and don't let any of the outside noise like sway you, because we've had an overwhelming amount of support, but everything hasn't been 100% happy and nice and sweet. And you really kind of have to prepare yourself that, okay, there may be people out there who don't like you or don't like your podcast or don't like the brands that you work with, and they associate you with that. So, and that's just stuff you have to deal with in general with having a social media presence if you're trying to like be an influencer or whatever. So
yeah, really, and it's okay. And trademark the name ASAP.
Yes.
Trademark. Yes. Yes.
Yes. And where can everybody keep up with y'all on the podcast, YouTube? How can they follow you on social media?
Yes, we are Planners and Wine on Instagram. We have a website coming soon, so we'll drop that information really soon. My Instagram is Meg's Got a Plan. Myra's Instagram is Myra Plans It. I mean, you can always find us on Instagram. That's the easiest place, right? And then on YouTube. You can find us at Planners and Wine. And we love you so much, Darian. Thank you so much. This was so awesome.
We really do.
Thank you.
So sad that it's ending. Like, I was tired like an hour ago. And I'm like, do we have to get off?
I know. I always like ending with this question, y'all. Let us know, what was your biggest takeaway from tonight? That's like always one of my favorite things to see, because we come here every night, every Wednesday night, and we learn so much from each other. So thank y'all for joining me. Like, this literally meant so much.
You're welcome. And my biggest takeaway from tonight is that hang out and surround yourself with people who support you and love you, and who are going to fill you up and lift you up on those times where you're really down on yourself and you really need it. Like, really try to surround yourself with that positivity. Like, not that, you're not open to criticism or anything, but really just stay around people who really have your back and really love you. And like, we love all y'all for joining, and we're so happy to be here. And Darian, I love you so much. You're so cute. Thank you so much. It's so fun.
And my biggest takeaway is that y'all will never let this Hamilton thing go. And I'm gonna just have to accept that.
Wait, can I say my favorite Hamilton song real quick?
Go for it.
Mine is Wait For It. I just want to put that out there into the universe. Wait for it. Just wait for your blessings. They're going to come to you. You got to work, but you got to wait too. Be patient. That's my favorite Hamilton song. Myra don't know nothing about that, but she will.
I love Myra.
It sounds like a great message.
I love that. I love that. Another big takeaway: it's possible to find a good friend in the planning community and look for the mute button.
Yes.
That's my takeaway. No.
You got to show you.
That's my takeaway. I discovered a mute button. Like,
I cannot that you didn't know about that, Darian. Oh my God.
What's the mute button and watch Hamilton?
She gonna mute everybody now, girl. She ain't gonna have nobody on her timeline.
Look. You gotta curate your own happiness in your own social media.
Plan a happy life.
Yeah.
Instagram feed. Okay. Just do it. That's all you need to do.
I love that so much. Y'all, thank you so much for joining me. And y'all, thanks for joining us in the comments. And I can't wait to see y'all next week. Bye.